there, Mr. Attorney. Good job.
I'd like to call this park board meeting for Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 to order. First item on tonight's agenda is the approval of the February 4th, 2025 minutes from that meeting. Members should have received those minutes in their packets, email packets. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? Okay, hearing none, those minutes will stand as presented. Need a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Mr. Dietrich, second by Mr. Prost. All those in favor? Mr. Prost?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton? Aye. And I also motion carries. Next item on tonight's agenda is the attorney's report.
The first item for consideration is a use agreement with the National Basketball Academy for a Pacers and Feeder Junior Hoops basketball camp for various dates at the Fieldhouse Gym.
Done these for several years now, June 16th, July 14th, Fieldhouse Center. Any questions?
Questions or comments for Rob? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the use agreement with the looks like community center and the field house with the TNBA.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, seconded by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Prost?
Aye.
Aye, and I also motion carries.
Next item is another use agreement for Brick Ember Outfitters for 5K run events at the Freedom Park Trails and Shelter on June 7th.
Happy to answer any questions. You guys have any?
Any questions or comments for Rob on this? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the use agreement with Rick Ember for use of Freedom Park for a looks like a charity run.
So moved. I'll second that.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Prost. All those in favor, Mr. Prost?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
I'm an aye also, motion carries.
Next item is a amended use agreement with the Sertoma Club of Greenwood. You've already approved this one, but they wanted raffle added, so that's what this agreement does. It supersedes that January 14th agreement.
Section 9 was added into the contract. It's about gambling and raffle. They did it last year.
Mr. Toma, then I have the rest of it. Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the amended use agreement with Sertoma Club for use of Craig Park for Wham Fest this year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich? Aye. Mr. Prost?
Aye.
Aye, also.
For the use of the field house for the company celebration.
Yep, it's employee appreciation. Rental, it is an exclusive rental field house. August, at that time frame, was extremely slow field house, as we want it to be. Well, not we want it to be, but as it is. Just because everyone's outside, participating in parks programs. So, for your consideration, employee appreciation rental of the exclusive rental of the field house, August 9th, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Do we use Edwards for anything?
I don't think they're a partner. I don't believe so.
I don't think they are, that's why I asked. Not that it matters. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the use agreement with the Greenwood Fieldhouse with Edwards Electrical Mechanical. So moved.
Second that.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Prost. All those in favor, Mr. Prost?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
I also, motion carries.
Next item is a use agreement with Texas Roadhouse Southport for staff appreciation for use of the field house on March 24th.
Yep.
That's impossible.
Great, sorry. It's an employee appreciation rental as well, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the use agreement with the Southport location of Texas Roadhouse for use of the Greenwood Fieldhouse for employee appreciation night.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Crowe, seconded by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Berger? Aye. Mr. Crowe?
Aye.
I also motion carries.
Second was a use agreement with the Greenwood Band Parent Organization to use the grassy areas at Woodman Park on September 20th for spectator parking for their invitation, marching band invitation.
It's a band invitational. The Woodland Park is just east of the School Corporation property. Done it for probably over 20 years now. One day a year, we park in that. They ask to park in that parking lot. There's a gate in the property boundary fence there to the west of Woodland Park. Park in there, and they go through that gate. They take care of the park. Jim would provide wood stakes and Walsh paper 12 until the game. It's a good partnership.
Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the use agreement with the Greenwood Band Parent Organization for use of a certain area of Woodland.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, seconded by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Prost?
Aye.
I'm an aye also, motion carries.
Next item is an amended use agreement with Strides for Sarcoma. You already approved one. They want to amend it as, I believe, alcoholic activity. I had to change a couple provisions that address included alcohol. Yeah, that. So you want that out?
What's that?
You want that one out?
Yeah, about so the original agreement for amendment is they've asked for additional to have alcohol at the event when we have some concert series as well. They've also asked for requests to have food trucks in the parking lot at the community center parking lot, and we have stricken that. So we'd like to be that on record that we are not in favor of that in the use agreement to have food trucks in the parking lot. In addition to that, again, to reemphasize, they are not to remove any of our city promotional banners for their event as well. But the amendment is to approve the use of the consumption and sale of alcohol at the event.
So let me ask you a question, Rob. You just want to put this is on paragraph 2, page 2, paragraph DA. You just want to just specify the community center parking lot?
Yes, please.
Okay, so public property could stay.
Yes.
Okay, it's just not the park, just not our parking lot. So I'll add that in. So paragraph D, A. Sorry. They have to have a valid use agreement, but then I'll put a sentence that says food trucks will not be permitted on community center parking lot property. Is that acceptable? Okay. Wrong.
So I'm trying to apply for one.
Sorry.
Say it again.
So I'm just gonna add a sentence, They can have a valid use agreement on public property, but no food trucks are gonna be allowed at the community center parking lot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So we're still going to approve this amendment.
Approve with that additional sentence.
Amended use agreement pursuant to legal changing paragraph D, section A.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
So did we approve the food trucks to start with, or what's the deal with the food trucks?
You did. The initial event notification had food trucks in it, sound applications, all that kind of normal things. And but then they come back and said, we want to put food trucks in our parking lot. We just didn't get it in the language of the contract that food trucks were not to be in our parking lot.
I see.
Just because of the timing of the event, when it is, it conflicts with the actual operation.
Yeah, so the food trucks are gonna be someplace else, or?
I mean, they can work with us. I mean, I have them pull down in there, like we have a road built down into the community center or the amphitheater, that's fine. We can accommodate them that way. And
Just not in the parking lot,
Just not in the community center parking lot.
Yeah.
Valuable space.
because of the hours.
Anything else? Okay, hearing nothing else, I need a motion to approve the amended use agreement with Strides for Sarcoma for use of the amphitheater pursuant to legal changing paragraph D, section A of this amended agreement.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Excuse me. That's all right. Thank you. Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Prost. All in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Prost?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
I'm an aye also. Motion carries.
Next page of the middle school.
Main Street Sound and Lighting. Mr. Ryan.
Oh, that's not right. Got
Main
it.
Vendor agreement.
Okay.
Main event.
Yes, yeah, yeah, it's a consideration vendor agreement with Main Event Sound and Lighting for rental various items, vehicles, things for them.
Green, that's right. Yes.
Free Fest, we got for audio, you get your speakers, your control board, your lighting, your staging, and also labor inclusive of that cost as well. All up $15,565.73. We have almost a full cost recovery mechanism on that through our SNR and then partnership.
Been using these guys for quite a while, haven't we? No
Over a
questions?
decade now.
At least, yeah. Question, comment? Okay, hearing that, I need a motion to approve the vendor agreement with Main Street Sound and Lighting for providing sound and lighting at this year's Freedom Festival.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Probst?
Aye.
I'm an aye also. Motion carries.
Next item is a partnership agreement with the Sarcoma Club for the 2025-26 Greenwood Sports Park season for an outfield banner partner and then also a yet to be determined event.
The partnership, Sonoma Club, for namesake, would like your approval for the 225 field sponsorship. You guys have already approved all the valuation of that, so you would just be approving the Sonoma Club for that. As far as the
The additional 500. Right, they're also doing some kind of additional 500 for an event to be named later, I guess, or TV.
Yeah.
Oh, TV.
They've allocated $4,000 to
Okay.
us. Or $500 to go to sports park,
To be
500 to go to something else that they have.
which we have not determined yet, so let's just bring it to you. It's just the sports club partnership.
Okay. Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the partnership agreement with Sertoma Club of Greenwood. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
I'm an aye also. Motion carries.
Next item is a partnership agreement with Cruising Mike Subs to be a Cabana Road partner. You want $2,500.
This is $2,500 for each season. Like Terry said, it's Cabana Row. It's got banner impressions. It's got concrete graphic impressions. It's got digital impressions. It's also got some ticket impressions that the partner can give out. It's for 25, 26, 27, and 28.
Questions, comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve partnership agreement with Jersey Mike Subs for partnership at the Freedom Springs.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Mr. Probst, second by Mr. Burton. All those in favor? Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Mr. Burton? Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
I'm aye also, motion carries.
So there was another sponsorship agreement with Aspen Creek Grill at the Greenwood Sports Park for the 2025 season. They're a dugout partner for $1,500 each season.
So I got a partner. So again, this would be the namesake, partnership levels and everything already been approved. This is for Aspen Creek Grill.
Questions or comments? Motion to approve the partnership agreement with Aspen Creek Grill for dugout partnership at the Greenwood Sports Park.
So moved. Second.
Been moved by Mr. Probst, second by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor? Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
I'm an aye also, motion carries.
Next item is a contract for purchase of equipment, a Toro Workman with Kenny Machinery, the amount of $12,399.44.
For the sports park, the workmen, we have one currently now. It works fine. This purchase would be for the sports park specifically. It's great for handling materials, anything that the grounds crew might get out there, potentially haul materials back and forth for the concessions, food and beverage as well. We do have this in our budget. This has been a focused item to get to that facility. Spec wise, we thought the Workman was from the spec standpoint for the capacity load, the capacity, what it could hold from a weight standpoint, and from a volume standpoint was our best option.
The plastic cargo bed that they've added to, is that like a dump bed or just?
It is a dump bed. I don't know from the spec wise if they changed much from what it is now. They're pretty much this high density polymer plastic. I mean, we've had that thing for 20 years down there at the shop, and it still works just fine. It's minimal. Right, we want to get it out.
Two-seater.
It's two-seater. Yep. No cap, open cap. Yep.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the purchase agreement with Kenny Machinery for the purchase of a Toro Workman for the Greenwood Sports Park.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Probst. All those in favor, Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
I'm an aye also, motion carries.
Next item is a contract for services with Nasby Construction to remove tennis courts and other associated work at Westside Park for $32,825.
Very similar structure on how we did Creighton Park, which we're wrapping up here soon. Is we're putting the bid documents put together for the west side, basketball and tennis courts. But before then, we're doing the demo independently for that. And that's what this is to get those courts.
We change the lighting out there for those courts? Or is it gonna stay?
Yeah, we're going to put them the LED, and then also we're going to find some efficiencies down there.
Yeah.
Get the corner of that tennis court out of the outfield of that softball. We're going to move over a little bit.
So will they be removing the lighting or will you handle that at a different time?
So what they'll do is They'll remove the heads, and then all the asphalt fencing, and then they'll leave the poles, at this point. New people will come in, design, put the poles on the lights.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the services agreement with NASB Construction for removal of the basketball and asphalt tennis courts at Westside Park.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Dietrich. All in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Probst?
Aye.
I'm an aye also, motion carries.
Next item is consideration for the child abuse prevention policy procedures. You're made aware of certain deficiencies in our child abuse prevention policies. This is drafted in an effort to address those deficiencies and figure. Stop, I guess.
Happy to answer any questions you guys have in the pamphlet. This seems to be a reoccurring thing, and it seems to be more and more each year from our insurance. They do an audit every year as they should, and then they just keep finding more and more of these deficiencies of programs, or they do a full analysis of what we do as a department, and I'm sure that whatever every department does, and they make sure the appropriate language as far as SOPs are put in place. In this case, it's our programs. They wanted to make sure this language was somewhere to be found. Stopping their SOPs.
So is this exclusive to the Park Department or just citywide?
That's exclusive to our programs. Yeah.
We're the only ones that deal with children. Okay. Questions or comments?
Glad we're on top of that.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware that we did this.
We've never done one of the that extent. That was a lot from the insurance to ask for. It's common that there are always finding deficiencies that we want to make sure we're covering. I understand.
Absolutely. Anything else? Hearing none, I need a motion. So we're approving this actual policies and procedures. Okay. Need a motion to approve the policies and procedures regarding child abuse prevention.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Pro, seconded by Mr. Burton. Sorry. Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton? Aye. Mr. Probst?
Aye.
I am an aye also, motion carries. And I believe that is everything for the attorney's report.
Yes.
Okay. Next item on tonight's agenda is a request for a recommendation regarding the establishment and administration of impact fees for parks and recreation infrastructure improvements within the corporate limits of the city of Greenwood, Indiana.
Well said, Tim. So,
Right there.
as you guys know, every 5 years, we renew our impact fees. Impact fees are a vital role on helping supplementally helping fund recreational deficiencies as we go forward, as the population grows. I think I've been involved with now maybe 3.5 impact fees. Mr. Lehman Associates has always been there to help us. He knows our city, he knows our structure. So yeah, Mr. Lehman is here to join us. He's going to walk through the final presentation of the impact fee, how we did it, why we did it this year, go through the process a little bit and answer any questions, any concerns you may have. Chuck, all you. Can't hear you, Chuck. You're muted.
Still not getting anything.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, is there something on this end we can help you with? I can see it's your computer icon. It's got a mute button on it, Chuck. I don't know if that helps. He's getting
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm having to do this all from my computer and my phone at the same time. So let me see this if this works. I'm going to share my screen if I can, and we'll work from there. Can you see my screen? Not that one. Hold on. This. Sorry about the technicalities. Do you have the presentation in front of you?
I've
Yes,
got a hard copy.
Yeah.
Chuck, I printed off.
we received copies in our packet.
Okay. Let me try one more thing to see if I can make this shareable or not. It's strange because I'm talking to you from my phone, but I'm trying to share my screen on my computer and it's not working. Hold on. Well, let me do this. If we can go to the page numbers, I can go through that presentation that way. You have a hard copy in front of you. On the first page, as Rob said, we're going to be updating this every 4 years, 4.5 years. We start this study knowing that the ordinance will run out in that 5th year. So what we do is we establish this at the point where this approval of this ordinance there hopefully will be no gaps in between the two ordinances on that. By state statute, those that you have gone through this before, we've formed an advisory committee. That advisory committee met last week. We're presenting this today to the park board. We will take it before the Plan Commission on the 24th of this month, and City Council will hear it on the 7th of April. What I'd like to share with you is that the advisory committee was made up of the individuals at the top on page 2. And everyone met with Dan was not able to meet last week, so we're going to be following up with a phone call with him. We are probably going to have another meeting with the committee next week or the week after, prior to the Plan Commission meeting itself. We did acknowledge the other staff members and folks from the city that's going to be part of that participation. On page 3, we outlined the study process, which basically we look at the population, we look at the inventory, we do that 10-year forecast to figure out what that level of service is going to be needed, and we interact with the priorities and so on. The city we were benefiting, riding the coattails of the city's comprehensive plan this time around, which allowed us to share that information as we would go through that. So this was primarily the focus of what we did as far as the study process. The impact fee advisory committee was part of that discussion that we reviewed with them last week. On page 4, basically it's just the same formula to determine the impact fee itself. You determine the impact cost for that next 10-year period. If there's any non-local revenues or impact deductions, you subtract that from that. And then you take that number and divide it by the projected 10-year residential building permits in that next 10-year period. Slide 5 looked at the growth of residential building permits over the years and what fees were collected over that period of time. Slide 6 looks at the community level service aspect. Again, the statute of the impact fees states that any current deficiencies will have to be funded outside of impact fees, but any future needs caused by the growth of the municipality and the new residential building permits, that can be actually funded 100% by the impact fees itself. Slide 7 looks at your future land use plan and that growth projection for for the city. And again, the riding on the coattails of the comprehensive plan was of great benefit this time around on this update. Slide 8 looked at the population forecast for that next 10 years. And again, the comprehensive plan had 3 different models that they projected. We took the average of that, and that's what represented in that bar chart or that graphic of that dotted yellow line. We're looking at the current population being almost 67,000 and a future population of a little under 73,000 by the year 2033. Slide 9, we look at how that is projected over that next 10-year period. Basically, we went just with a straight growth of 262 building permits in that every given year, knowing that that's going to have some flexibility. There will be high points and greater points and lesser points on that. But that growth would project a total of 2,623 building permits and a future forecast of 65, a little bit over 6,500 people in that 10-year period. Slide 10 looked at the park inventory and the aspect of where the park acreage are within the Greenwood Park system, just a little bit under 400 acres serving the citizens of Greenwood at this point in time. Slide 11 did the same thing for all the various points of park infrastructure. So out of this, there's probably close to 50 infrastructure components that we looked at. You will recall in past studies, we worked with the department and the impact advisory committee to determine priorities within that framework. We looked at a different approach this time around, and that approach we're referring it to on slide 12 as more of a categorical modeling for the impact infrastructure itself. What we did, we took that same inventory and broke it up into 8 different categories of infrastructure components. So those at the top on that, we had hard surface play areas, we had multi-purpose fields, we had park amenities, trails and amenities, park acreage and infrastructure, park operations, indoor facilities, and facility complexes. Rob, do you want to insert any commentary at this point on this new model?
Yeah, I mean, as Chuck says, previous studies that we've done, the impact fees were an aggregate sum created by specific amenities like pickleball courts. We keep bringing up pickleball courts, and it's applicable because let's say the last study, which we're currently operating underneath right now, we didn't have pickleball courts within that study as a priority A specifically. Well, we wouldn't have been able to do all the work that we have done with using impact fees. It would not have fit the definition of impact fees because we did not address it earlier. It's really hard to be able to figure out, not really hard to figure out, it's really hard to address future recreation deficiencies specifically like that. So by using pickleball courts as a unit to add, to come up with a cost of hard court surfacing, and then in addition to that, you can also use skate parks, tennis courts, anything else to come up with that unit cost to plug into that formula. From an administrator standpoint, that gives us a lot, we can serve our community a lot better, the current community, and then also the new community that's coming in. We can serve them a lot better by having that foresight that we had when we did this impact study. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, thanks. If you go to page 13, it was basically what we've done is taken the summary out of all of those infrastructure components and broke them down and summarized them in those categories. And again, for example, on the upper table there, we have hard surface play areas. what that's showing is that there's 38 components within that hard surface play area on that. That level of service that's currently being served, the population of being served on that is that there's 0.57 of those needed to serve the population of that 67,000 people. What we did on all of these is determine that current level of service, which is that third column underneath in the blue shaded header on that. And that indicated the level of service that each of those categories are providing in servicing the populations and the citizens of Greenwood. In looking at that future forecast of population of that 72,853, we're using that same level of service. So we're not upping the level of service other than what we already have. And that would, in that fifth column over where it says that 10-year future needs component, that would indicate the number of components or we would need to serve that future population based on that current level of service. We've applied a unit cost to that and then determined what that facility cost of that future need would be. And then in that very last column, what that categorical impact fee line item would be. If you add up all of the all 8 of those categories, it would have generated an impact fee of $3,504. What we discussed with Rob and Jen and also the committee last week is that the facility complexes are really those facilities that would be, I think it includes like golf courses and some major ticket items within that. We determined that that probably would be better served to have those type of facilities funded outside of impact fees because the volume and size of those would probably be more of a bond issue type of a funding mechanism used on that. So what we did in that middle column or middle portion of the page, the totals of the current deficiencies of without the facility complexes, it would generate an impact fee of $2,748 on that. What I noted in that bottom table was what components those individual line items could actually fund. And if there was no inventory of some of the components already within your system, we excluded those outside of the application on this because again, the state statute states that current deficiencies, because you don't have some components, those current deficiencies would have to be funded outside of impact fees. So what we did in this list is list down what components would actually fall within those categories that would be fundable by the impact fee itself. Let me complete the presentation and then we'll come back and answer any questions that you may have. On page 15 is a composite of many of the municipalities throughout the state and what their impact fee standard is right now and what year their ordinance was approved. So of that list that's shown there, it's a little bit under $2,000 is the average of all of those components. You'll see nearby, Noblesville is at 4122. I think Carmel is the highest in the state at 5370. Plainfield's at 2733 or 2533 and so on. Greenwood is listed in there with what we're having as a suggested number of 2748. You'll see on the right-hand side of this table, many of the communities are actually adding inflation factor percentage. So basically, and I think Greenwood has had this in the past too, that every anniversary date of that ordinance itself, the impact fee would be increased a certain percentage. In the past, I think the standard has been around 3%. In most recently with the inflation of the entire country is experiencing, that 3% has been moved up to about 5%. So what's shown on the Greenwood line item there is a 5% increase. So that's saying that in the first year you would run at 2748. In year 5 of that ordinance, it'd be at 3340. And this basically is just taking into account all of the inflational factors, to the infrastructure components itself. The last elements of the page I wanted to point out was there was, and again, this is just the presentation. There's a full documentation on that. Page 16 looks at how that future needs would be spent over that time period. And again, this is just a tentative layout. It's one that Rob and Jen and the city will determine what and how to use that. You'll see in 2024 and 2025, this limited amount of dollars being spent or allocated in this table. Keep in mind that you're still going to be drawing upon the your old ordinance to fill out some of these other components to that. So it's not the fact that nothing's going to happen in 2024 or 2025 from that standpoint. The slide 17 was really more the recommendation that the advisory committee is considering, and what's being brought before the park board tonight is that with this new model, there would be no current deficiencies recognized in the next 10 years. The future needs would be that $7.2 million, and again, no discounts for any non-local or impact deductions. The recommended impact fee dollar amount would be $27.48. It is recommended that we're looking at an additional inflation factor on an annual basis of 5%. And then there was a recommendation not to include any housing equivalent options, which basically is something that some communities have used itself. Slide 18 basically is the Baggies or Builders Association of Greater Indianapolis's checklist, and they have 10 points that they used to make sure that impact fee study updates and so on are followed, and all of these components I think matches what we've done in this study itself. So I will stop at this point, see if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions or comments? A lot of information.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you presented it very well.
No questions from me. I'd like to get a hard copy from the department. Is that okay if I come over and get a hard
You've
copy?
been provided a link, should have been in your packet, it's emailed to you on Friday. It had both the presentation. It had the presentation Chuck just did, and it had the final actual impact fee study.
Okay.
So, but we can print off, if you want the presentation, print that off for you, or you can have one.
Thank you.
Good. Nobody's got anything, Chuck? Chuck, thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, very good. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Again, the Plan Commission is where the formal public hearing would be held as in past, and then they give a recommendation on to the City Council. So I'll be happy to answer any questions now or later on then too.
All right. Moving along, I guess we are going to look at we need a motion to approve this resolution.
I make a motion that the Greenwood Parks and Recreation Board approve the Recreation Zone Improvement Plan 2024 to 2033 and Greenwood Recreation Impact Fee Study prepared by Chuck Lehman of B3. The Recreation Zone Improvement Plan 2024 to 2033 and Greenwood Recreation Impact Fee Study prepared by Charles Lehman of B3 now be considered an appendix and supplement to the Park and Recreation's master plan, and the Recreation Zone Improvement Plan 2024 to 2033 and Greenwood Recreation Impact Fee Study be forwarded to the Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission for the review and further action under Indiana law.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved by Mr. Burton, seconded by Mr. Probst. All those in favor, Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
I'm an aye also. The resolution passes.
Thanks, Chuck.
Chuck, thanks again.
Thank you much. Rob, I'll be in touch with you next week.
Sounds good.
Next item on tonight's agenda is the Greenwood Parks Foundation report. It looks like we have some sponsorship agreements.
We do, again, Aspen Creek, as you guys know, as a reminder, the foundation is the beneficiary of the foundation or the field house partnerships. So this would just be for namesake. It's Aspen Creek, they're wanting to be attached. That's what we'll be pressed on.
Questions or comments? The Aspen Creek partnership agreement. Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve that partnership agreement.
So moved.
Second. Been moved by Mr. Burton, seconded by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Burton?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich? Aye. Mr. Probst?
Aye.
I'm an aye also. Motion carries. It's like now we have a partnership agreement with Laney Family Dentistry. Laney, excuse me.
Laney Family Industry, it's an elevated tracks, sponsor, that field house, for your consideration.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the partnership agreement at the Greenwood Fieldhouse with Laney Family Dentistry.
So moved.
Second that.
Moved by Mr. Burton, seconded by Mr. Probst. All those in favor, Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton?
Aye.
I'm an aye also. Motion carries. Controllers report. Greg is with us tonight.
Good evening. So for the month of February, here on the first page for your operating fund, you'll notice spending is kind of outpacing revenues. Nothing unexpected there, because that's the fund that gets your property taxes. That's the fund where all the admissions for Freedom Springs go. So the things that bring in a lot of the funding for that fund haven't hit yet. So not too worried there. The revenues will be there later this year. You still got 85% almost reserves in that fund, so you're in really great shape. The next page, your food and beverage tax fund. Food and beverage taxes coming in pretty strong so far this year. We actually have receipts are above expenses so far this year. You've got about 4.3 million in that account as well. So between those two accounts, we're looking pretty good. I know that we are going to spend down some of that cash when we get into the AES Trail construction. So won't all be there all year, but you know, it looks really nice early in the year. Next page is your Park S&R fund. You can see we were almost dead on between receipts and expenditures for that fund, up just about $400. So that's the one, you know, I talk about it every month. We kind of expect ebbs and flows based on when the programming is occurring. Finally, you got your Park Impact Fee Fund. That one kind of interestingly enough, we're only upside down $785. We have some good receipts there so far this year, a little bit of spend. Still 1.3 million in that fund. And again, it sounds like we got a plan going forward to bolster some of that as we look to keep growing.
It's like strong numbers.
Absolutely.
Anybody have anything for Greg? Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You get a copy of the report for him, any questions you want to have to answer?
Guys have been busy on trees. Saw you out there at the Northwest, just hacking away. You know, I never considered opening that up to allow the sun to actually get out there and dry that core. Yeah.
I wanted to do it for a number of years, just matter of, get the guys at the time to do it, we finally got to it.
Yeah. Think you guys been busy. Maybe get some more snow.
Yeah.
Well put. Thank you, Jim. Trails.
Do have a little update. Kind of nice looking like Greg. AES, we provided the DNR with some deficiency they'd asked for. DNR came back. I think I told this last meeting. Excuse me if I have to be repetitive. DNR came back with this really kind of arbitrary kind of outline of property we need to acquire as an easement due to the bridge that we're going to put in. The property the easement that we need to gain from is owned by Timbergate. So I met with a couple of the stakeholders, and then I met with the board as well. I presented to the board. It is pending with the board. I've been working with Mr. Shaw and Mr. Raines on that, and so I will keep developing that and giving them information. How we need to get that acquisition, whether it's a potential land purchase or whether it's going to be an easement. So I will keep you guys updated on those as we continue. Once we do have that easement secured and it's recorded here in Johnson County and the receipt is shown to the state, I don't know what other thing they can give us as a roadblock to stop the project. So I think that will be it. And I'll be we and I sit down and figuring out the funding sources, making sure we're sharp.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep, thanks.
Recreation report.
You have a copy of our report, gearing up for summer.
They got an email about the baseball trip.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I think it's ticket tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it said to everybody that.
What's that?
You going on the baseball trip this year?
Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Looking forward to it. And I told Rob, I heard somebody on the radio advertised this morning about, it was either 5 or 6 a.m. I don't know which one it was, but it woke me up from my sleep when I heard Greenwood Sports Park. So I had to check with him to make sure I wasn't hearing things. Do I have anything for Nick? Thank you, Nick. Fieldhouse report been presented to us. John's not here tonight.
Yep, happy to answer any questions you guys may have. Just seeing the numbers at this time last year, it's a steady incline with the exception of day passes sold, but even that is almost on par with what we were last year. Constantly increased numbers all across the board from foot traffic, attendance, and revenue.
Community Center report. Sharon's here tonight.
Report. If you have any questions, you know.
Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate it. Other business from the public? Any other business from the board?
Yeah, we have a late item. Don't like to put the board under this time frame. Greenwood Middle School do have a precedent of using the tennis courts at Freedom Park. They have been out for the last handful of years. They just sent a request in between March 10th and May 15th, Monday through Thursday. They would like to courts fine. So that's essentially all.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the use of agreement with Greenwood Middle School for use of the Freedom Park tennis courts.
So moved. I'll second that.
Moved by Mr. Dietrich, second by Mr. Post. All those in favor? Mr. Post?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton? Aye. I'm aye also, motion carries. I've also got an addendum to a contract with Centos up here.
Yeah, I apologize, it's not on my agenda, I don't know if it's on your agenda. What it is, we currently have we use Centos as our vendor. Facilities, we use them as the field house and the community center for rollout, walk-off mats. The addendum is to add another facility. The facility would be Freedom Springs and the sports park. And the item that we would like to add to those facilities is a towel service and mop head service.
So is it just an addendum to the existing contract we have with Centos?
Yes, yeah.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the addendum to the contract Parks Department has with Centos.
So moved.
Second. Been moved by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Dietrich. All those in favor, Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Mr. Burton? Aye. Mr. Probst?
Aye.
Aye also, motion carries. Members should have received the copy of the claim sheets in the packets. If there's no additions or corrections, they will stand as presented. And if there's no other motion to come, or no other business come forward the board tonight, this meeting is adjourned.